Hey, everybody, get this thing going just a second. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes? All right, good. A little bit of delay, no sweat. Got 7 people. All right, guys, got 7 of you on here. We can get started with that. So let me turn this down so you don't get any feedback. And I'll try to stay up to date on your questions here on another screen. It's just there's going to be a delay. So if you ask a question, just expect a slight delay. All right. So thanks for joining tonight. I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about the border wars in last week. First, we'll talk about last week, me being out in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is great. It was really good, and it's going to be good for the tournament series. And then we'll talk about the border wars, and we'll kind of talk about next year, what that's going to look like. So, as long as everyone can hear me okay, and it sounds like you can. So last week I was out. I was invited out there to Winston Salem, and it's a relationship conference, and the relationship conference was built on planners, guys that put on events, and people that can help navigate the facilitation and support of those events. You know, some of the different states representatives, different cities representatives, and I met with 30 something of them that had time allocated to come to our table. So what it is the planners are sitting at a table, and you lay out your stuff there, and then they come to you. They have a certain amount of time that they're scheduled to be there, and they show up at that time, and you sit with them for 15 minutes. And you tell them what you can do, what you need, what your must-haves are for an event, things you're looking for, and then they help you if it's a good fit or not. And one of the things they said, which is really good, and I like to hear that, even in my corporate job, if things aren't going to work, just say so. You know, no harm, no foul. If it's not working, if from a business standpoint, that's what it is. It's a business. Then you just don't do it. So these locations come there, and some of them did. Some were very honest about it. So I just don't know if this is going to fit. And we told them that on a couple of different states. Just don't think this is going to be a fit for us. And I'll give you an example. If you're trying to put on a 100 boat event, a single ramp is not going to work. You know, it's going to be a pain. So for the user, the angler experience and the presentation of it, you know, single ramp, not necessarily really good. It just so things like that we look for, and those kind of pile on. You might be able to make it work, um, but the user experience starts eroding then, and so those are the things we kind of talked through facilities we'd need, things like that. So at the end of the conference, we meet with everybody, and then they move you around, and there's another opportunity the first day that night where people can just show up at your table. They didn't have to schedule time, or they couldn't. Maybe you were already filled up, and I was filled up, didn't have any open times, and then they come and talk to you. And so what it was about is, and we'll talk more on it later on. Is I wanted to find out what resources were out there to help grow All American Catfish tournaments, and we have a regional um, events. We're going to maintain those, and we're going to talk and look at having a national trail next year, starting next year. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I want the trip out there in Winston Salem was great. Hey Justin, it was great. It was a great opportunity, and I'm trying to move these chats down, and it really is going to help us elevate our tournament trail and where we're going to go and how that's going to look. All right. Um, we were able to get a lot of our material and a lot of things we've learned in front of a lot of people. Those relationships are going to last. We worked a lot with Kansas City while we were out there, and we talked to them a lot about the security concerns at Cop Point, and they were on it. Their leadership was openly stated to all his staff, it's going to be a priority. And I emphasized the security of Cop Point can't be a priority just for a tournament. It has to be a priority for the day angler and the night angler, the weekend anglers. It's a city park. It's a historical site. It's great fishing, and when people try to go out there for leisure activities, they shouldn't have to be worried about what's going on, what kind of conduct's taking place in the park. So we're going to meet. I asked, to meet with them, meet with the sheriff's department. We meet with Kansas City PD, and try to come up with a plan to address that security concern at Cop Point. Since being back, you got a phone call about some other issues that took place this past weekend, and so it's on my top of my list tomorrow morning is to meet with those guys and call them at least and say, look, we need to get this meeting started. So the event out there in North Carolina was great. Because of that, we got a lot of good attention on the tournament trail, and we got a lot of good attention, it looks like, for Cop Point and trying to improve conditions down there. And I just don't want to stop at Cop Point. I think Turner Boat Ramp's another one, but we got to start somewhere, so that's where we're at. All right. So let's talk about the Border Wars. I will be, since Jody's back and he had his big event and everything, I'll be sending him quite a few bits of information this week. One of them is how many of you guys are qualified for the national championship. We're going to make Border Wars a national qualifying event also. And at the board, so that's good. If you haven't qualified yet, you still have a chance. The top 5, or the people that are in the money, who win money at the Border Wars, can still be entered into the tournament champions. So you still have 2 more chances to be entered into the tournament champions. The Border Wars and Milford. All right. So don't give up on that. You still have a chance. I get asked that a lot. How do you get in there? How do you get into the tournament champions? You win money in our event. You sign the paperwork saying you've received the money, and you're invited. And then it's like a normal tournament for you guys. And $200 entry, and it pays out to the top 3 teams. And it's 100% payout. And all the additional, if we have any leftover prize and stuff, it gets dispersed out to those guys. You win a trophy or a plaque, and you call it good. You call yourselves champions for the year. So the Border Wars, you still have a chance to qualify for that. You still have a chance to qualify for the national championships. Later on this week, you're going to see a post from the Benjamin Moore Spectrum Paint Yeti Cooler giveaway. The top 5 teams or top 5 places in each one of our events will go into a hat, or per se, but you have an entry in for the raffle. So we're going to draw 2 names at the Border Wars, and 2 people are going to win Yeti coolers. Since then, I've been told that there's going to be a couple additional Yeti coolers, and Justin Thornton let me know that. So Spectrum Paint's going to looks like they're going to give up a couple more. So once we get those, we'll confirm it 100%. But right now, that's what it sounds like is going to happen. And then we're going to come up with a way for more people to win that too. So we'll get a little creative with that one and have some fun with it. So thanks for Spectrum Paint for supporting us this season and getting us those coolers. And thanks to Justin Thornton working with them on that. It's because he works with them all the time. That's why they're on board with it. So that's good. All right. The other thing we have is the Minn Kota Terrova iPilot trolling motor. That raffle is still going on. It will be raffled off at the Border Wars, so we will be bringing that trolling motor with us. Somebody is going to win it, and they are going to take it home and get it out of my garage. All right. So again, it's that trolling motor on the box. It says refurbished, and it's because apparently when that box was on the floor, someone opened it, and Cabela's had to take it out, go through it, make sure everything was there, and put it back in. And because of that, they call it refurbished. But they gave it to us. We're going to raffle it off. The raffle tickets will be available both days to buy. Once you buy those raffle tickets, that money that's gained from those raffle tickets also goes to the Tournament of Champions winning. So not only is it 100% payout, but anything we made off that raffles for the trolling motor goes that pot too. So the top 3 guys, it's 100+% payout, obviously. So Justin's got a question. So we have a Milford and Border Wars to qualify for Tournament Champions. Yes. Yes, you do. Milford, the rescheduling of Milford, and the Border Wars. All right. After that, not going to happen. There is going to be another tournament at Cop Point. That looks like the 3rd week of October. That's going to be separate from All American Catfish Series, although we are going to help facilitate it. More on that. We're going to have a separate one on that, and I'll talk about it more later. It's going to be a memorial event. You'll see it on the page, but just look for that. So that one will not, even if you place in that one, it's not my event, so you will not be qualified for the Tournament of Champions. But we're still going to help them put it on, and we're going to make that one good. All right. So Border Wars, Milford, qualify for the Tournament of Champions. All right, so we talked about the trolling motor. We talked about the Eddy coolers. We talked about the Border Wars being a national qualifier. We do have products to give away. Macy's Fish and Swine has added money for the big fish of each day. So if someone, gets the big fish of 50 pounds on a Saturday, they're going to win some money. And if someone turns around, a different person gets big fish on Sunday and it's 70 pounds, they're going to win some money. If someone wins big fish that day, we'll work it out. But anyway, so there's 2 chances to win money from Macy's Fish and Swine at Border Wars. They are also going to be out there and have a table set up for your gear. So if you need equipment, now is the time to go ahead and let them know so they can, if they don't have it on hand, they can get it in time. If they can, now's the further out you can let them know so they can order it. They'll work with you and let you know if they can get it in or not. But they'll have it there. Keep in mind, with the Border Wars being a 2-day event, you will most likely be losing gear. You could be losing a net trying to get bait. So they will be available. They will have gear for you. And speaking of nets, I will be getting a new net. So just make sure you let them know. They will have products out there for you guys. They will have a table set up. You do not have to be fishing the tournament to come out there and get something from them. So stop by, see them, get to meet them, say hi to them, and thank them for being a sponsor of ours. And they're really good people, and the kids are great. Macy and Ryan, they're not Ryan. Anyway, they're all good kids. What was I going to say? Let me check my notes here. All right. So what I was saying is Macy's, Skylar, Michael, and Angie, all great people. You see the fish Skylar pulled in the other day. Nice big fish out there at Lexington. Those guys are doing good. Come by and see them, meet them, thank them for being our sponsors. Let me pull up my notes here. All right, at the Border Wars at St. Joe, while this is pulling up, it is a 2-boat ramp. 2 boats can be put in at the same time. We are going to put cones in the middle of the ramp so people can clearly see where the 2 lanes are, and that way people could drop in at the same time. All right? We're going to try to coordinate that as much as possible so you guys have a good experience getting on and off the water. We don't want any delays there. We don't want to see it. We're going to do everything we can to keep it going. There will not be trailering. So just look for those cones. That'll split the ramp, and we'll get people there. And we'll have the weigh station where it's easily for you guys to pull up. We'll do an overview and overlay of the parking lots for you guys to be able to see where we're going to do registration at, where we're going to do the weigh-in at. And you'll see the banners anyway. The weigh-in will be pull your boat in front of the banners. All right? It will not be walk up with a tub in your hand. You will pull your boat up there and do that. All right? Keep the fish in the water. Keep oxygen on them. Keep it circulating, whatever you got to do. Keep them healthy. We don't want the fish out of water any longer than we need to. All right. The weigh-in it is, and it's written in our stuff. The anglers are responsible for handling their fish. I know, Josh helps everybody out as much as he can, but it delays things. All right. So teams, when you're weighing in, you'll be given a bucket. Get your fish in the bucket. If you're by yourself, we're going to help you, obviously. But if you're a two-man team or two-person team, you guys got to work this out. Someone's got to get the fish in the bucket, and then someone's got to get the fish over the scales. They are your responsibility to handle those. The reason that is I don't want anyone trying to help you dropping a fish and injuring it, and then have all that kind of chaos because we got a fish that's knocked out cold on the pavement somewhere. You're responsible for your fish. You've earned it. You've caught them. Take care of them. Don't let us get in the way and do something to them unintentionally. So we'll go over that in the captain's meeting out there. But I just give you guys a heads up right now. We're going to have the buckets ready for you, but be prepared. Talk to your buddies who's going to put the fish in the bucket, take them to the tank, or take them to the scales, get weighed, and who's going to run them down, and who's going to get the boat and move it. It's going to be a really quick process because, we don't want to delay everything. All right. So we'll talk a little bit about the sponsors of the Border Wars. So let me just reemphasize something. We talked about the raffle for the Yeti coolers. That'll take place at the Border Wars. We talked about the raffle for the trolling motor. Justin Thornton Painting, he's added $2,000 to the pot. We are going to be posting later on this week what that $2,000 breaks out to for the first few spots. So before any money's collected from anyone, you'll see what's already being added to first, second, third, fourth place, and so on. All right, you're going to see that. On top of that, Justin Thornton partnered with Savannah Marine, and so they're adding $500 to Big Fish. Okay, so altogether, Justin's put in $2,250 of his own money, and then he's still getting an entry in there, and so he's put a lot in there that shows his support. We want to support him. So make sure, if you're on this page, you go out to Justin Thornton Painting, you like this page, and we make sure that we post on there how we appreciate his support. And let's get the word out. We all know people who need houses painted. All of us need, sooner or later, if you're a homeowner, need your house painted. We have a guy that can do that. So check it out. But so Justin Thornton Painting is a big contributor to this event. And Savannah Marine's also helping out with the Big Fish. Macy's Fish and Finds, I talked about $50. They're going to have $50 each day for the Big Fish pot also. GNR Bait, what's been working for him, and this is a lot of work for him. Him and Rhonda work pretty hard to do this for everybody, and but they still do it, and they're taking care of a lot of tournaments. So they're showing up to these tournaments. They're bringing their skipjacks out there, and as they sell packs of skipjack, they put $1 for every skipjack back into the pot for you to win. All right. And then they said, if you buy skipjacks from them and then you win the event and use their skipjack, you get another 50 skipjacks. So they're doing all these types of things, and they're really, really helpful. So this weekend, this event, Border Wars event, it's a 2-day event. Getting bait Saturday night may be a problem. Here's a solution. Use GNR Bait. They'll be there. They'll have skips, and for every skipjack sold, they sell 500 skipjacks. They sell 1,000 skipjacks. That's $1,000 they're willing to add back into the pot. They did this in Lexington too. In fact, not only did they do that in Lexington, they rounded up, and there was another contributor. He threw in money too on top of it. So they added out of their kindness of their heart, and really are. I mean, they have a business model, but they made sure there was even more money added by taking it out of their own pocket, putting it in the pot, making sure someone had a chance to win it. Those are good people. We want to take care of them. So GNR Bait will be there. They'll be on site Saturday and Sunday. You'll be able to get some bait. Okay. And Saturday and Sunday. If that changes, we'll post it. We'll get it out there, and we'll get with Gerald, Judy, and we'll get it all updated. If you need specific orders of additional bait and things like that, you're going to have to get a hold of them soon, because this late in the year, getting bait's getting difficult. So if you need bigger orders than that, let them know. All right. If you just need a few bags, they should have them there. All right. Warrior cat rods. They gave us some cat rods earlier in the year. We have not given those out. We've been giving out we did give out two. We did give out the Warrior cat rods. And other than that, we've been giving out gift certificates. that they gave us. So we have the rest of the rods we're going to give out at the Border Wars. So those are the giveaways. Hookers, terminal tackle, same thing. They give us a lot of gear, and we'll be giving those away. So they're another one of our sponsors. We talked about the Spectrum Paint and Benjamin Moore Yeti, 2 Yeti coolers, and the trolling motor. So that's what we've got right now. I'm not sure if I overlooked anybody or not. Oh, correction, I did overlook someone. Talked to Steve Douglas the other day. He is setting some things up for Monster Rod holders. And with that, just kind of FYI, we will be at his catfish conference later on next year. We will be there and we will have a booth set up. All right. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking for that opportunity. And Kansas City is going to help with this because we are trying to get a higher visibility of the catfish community here in Kansas City. And so we're going to partner with them on that booth, and they're going to help make sure the All American Catfish brand is out there for everyone and looks professional. So we're looking forward to that. Okay. Let me go through, make sure anything else. If you guys have any questions, able to go out and get bait the night or day of. All right. So Jeremy, I believe what you're asking is, are you going to be able to get bait? Yeah, you can get bait. The night before, it's the same thing. The night before, it's a day tournament. So look at our rules on when you have to be off the water for a day tournament. So Saturday, what's kind of unique about this one is Saturday, you're going to get off the water. All right, at 4:30. We're going to do a weigh-in, and then some of you guys are going to turn around right around again and try to go get fresh bait. Carp, shad, whatever the case is. We understand that. And so, again, we talked about Gerald Judy having that. So you're going to need to get bait, but you're going to have to be off the water by midnight. All right? We are polygraphing at this event. All right? So, and it's not just going to, most likely, it's not going to be just someone who wins money. All right? We're going to be watching things, anything come up. We're going to go ahead and be polygraphing. So we're working on that right now. But we're going to make sure the integrity of this event is there. So good question, Jeremy. We don't want someone out there at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to get bait on the river that everyone's going to be fishing on and drawing all kinds of. And that's not in our rules. We're not allowing it. 2-day event. We'll give you time to get bait Saturday night, but you need to be off the water. All right, Saturday night are the Border Wars. We were looking for a location to have a get together. We were kind of looking at Casey's parents' place. That still may happen. But since then, St. Joe's got us a block of hotels, and we posted that, right? The Red Lion, I guess it is. So they have a hotel there with a bunch of rooms blocked off. When you reserve your room, let them know that you're reserving the room on behalf of the Border Wars. You'll be fishing it, and that's how you get your discounts. So make sure they know it's coming from us. Downstairs of that hotel is a little restaurant and bar, and we're thinking about having a get together there in the hotel since everyone's staying there. So if we're all staying there, let me buy a bunch of drinks for people and get some food brought in for you, and we'll go from there. So tomorrow I'll call them, ask them how many people we can get in there, and if it's realistic for us to have. So we're going to try to get that solidified this week, where we're going to have a get together, something casual. We're not trying to get all crazy and drink a bunch of alcohol and then try to be on the water the next morning. We're not trying to do that. We would like to get people together, have some camaraderie and a good time, and have some food and for you guys. So our traditional hot dogs and chili dogs and everything may not happen at the Border Wars because a lot of you are going to try to weigh in. Once you're weighed in, there's no award ceremony Saturday. So as soon as you're weighed in and you're accounted for, take off, go get your bait, start rigging for the next day. All right. And we'll cover that Saturday morning. So because of that, we don't want everyone trying to linger around and burning a bunch of daylight and being out on the water tired the next day. So we'll cover it, but we do want to have some sort of get together, even if people just stop in, grab a few slices of pizza, have a cold soft drink or a beer, whatever it is they want, and then take off again. And then Sunday, we may have something. We have a list of all kinds of barbecue joints and restaurants, stores that were given to us to call and see if they can't sponsor meals or drinks and everything for us. So we're going to shoot for that on Saturday afternoon. Saturday and Sunday morning, we'll still have our ice chests out there. We'll still have Gatorade and water for you and chips and we won't have biscuits and gravy. So before anyone asks me that, um, we're not going to have biscuits and gravy out there. It is a day event, and but we will have something for you guys to grab and go with. We definitely will have that. Cocoa and coffee, we'll have that for you. Um, we'll do something for you. It's the same thing, right? We like food too, so we want to make sure you guys have something. I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, Joel. Who else is around? Any other questions? What do you guys question? What do you have on questions so far? All right, let's recap the flow of the Border Wars. We're going to get there. We'll have a post of the map and how it's all going to be laid out. We're going to have cones on the ramp, so they're clearly defined 2 lanes for people to put in, 2 boats and put in, take out at the same time. Registration the day of is still allowed. You can register late and launch late if you needed to. Ideally, we have pre-registration, so that kind of gives an indicator how many people are going to show up. That's still available. We're going to close that probably the Wednesday before the Border Wars. We're going to close that off, shut that down, and then it'll only be day of registrations. Okay. We'll do the safety brief out on the water again. Hold on here, guys. So we're going to do the safety brief out on the water again. It's like our normal day events. If everyone is on the water at 6:30, we'll start briefing then. All right. No lines in the water until 7 a.m. Okay, so if we do the brief when we play the national anthem, we send everyone off. When everyone's in, the quicker everyone's in, the quicker we can get launched. And as long as there's no boats waiting in line to be put in, we're going to get you launched. Play the national anthem, review the rules once really quick, play the national anthem, and start the launch order. So the question about drive time is, it's up to the anglers, a lot of it. Otherwise, if they're still putting in, if no one's put in yet, at 7 o'clock, whether you're put in or not, the tournament starts. So if you want drive time, we need to get there early. You need to get the boats in the water early. Everyone needs to have their vests on, listen to the rules, review, respect the national anthem, and then we start launching people. And if we can do that at 6:35, you have 25 minutes drive time. You are not going to have 2 or 3 hours drive time to go to Call Point or something. It's not going to happen. All right, you may get 15, 20 minutes, but that's it. No lines in the water. No lines in the water. All right. So same thing for both days. That's how it's going to be. All paint sticks will have to be turned back in by 4:30 that same afternoon. Anything past that, you're done. All right. You won't be disqualified from the whole event. You just don't have a weigh-in for that day. Okay. So, and we'll have this all written out for you. You just don't get to weigh in. So if Saturday at 4:31 you come pulling up and want to put your paint stick in, we're going to take your paint stick because we got to account for you, but you just don't get to weigh in if you have fish. You're late. Okay. So that day would be a DQ for that day. You're not DQ'd from the whole event. Sunday, you get to work a little bit harder and try to make up that loss weight. So we want to keep the boats there. We don't want to be driving boats off. So that's why we're doing it that way. All right. Things happen, but you have a chance to recover Sunday. And that's why we did the 2-day event. Is sometimes your plan didn't work Saturday. You go home, stew over it all night Saturday, and come back Sunday with a new game plan and try to win that thing. All right. Let's see here. Any questions? I see in the chat there, Gerald Judy, looks like you're buying all the drinks. Hey, that's pretty nice of you. I'll stick to milk. Yeah, North Carolina, there was a lot of drinks, and you guys know I'm not a big drinker. But it was good. It was very controlled. It was a good time. Very, very fun atmosphere. But I'm not touching any alcohol for a while. Just kidding. So that's it for the flow, and we'll do our normal stuff. But that's it for the travel time, the boat conditions, the check-in. The boats need to be accounted for. Saturday night, like I said, at that hotel Red Line, get your rooms reserved. That cutoff for that reservation cuts off Friday, the 21st. So everyone needs to get in there, and then down there, their restaurant, will have a get-together that night, get pizzas and some drinks for you guys. And you'll still be able to buy all your own drinks and everything there if you're old enough and all that. But we want everyone to have fun. All right. Any questions on the Border Wars? There will be trophies given to the first place team. All right. We do have a plaque that we'll be adding their names onto. Then every year we'll keep adding those names onto it. At the Border Wars, Sunday at the awards, we will be announcing a new sponsor. We're looking forward to this. They've already committed quite a bit of money to the Border Wars for 2019. We will announce the location of the Border Wars for 2019, and then and we're going to go from there. All right. So I think you guys are going to be happy with it. We're looking forward to the 2019 Border Wars. There's quite a few people that have discussed committing more money to that one already this year. And we are working hard to try to get more money added to this Border Wars. Ideally, I'd like to see the pot grow. We only have a couple weeks to pull that off. We'll see what we can do. We are working on that. Any other questions, guys? Any questions? Do we have Kansas printed on the trophy yet? Nope, not yet. I think it's engraved. So, no, remember, Eddie Henney and Adam Funk won the Border Wars last year. And I know there's a lot of tough competition out of St. Joe. They know that part of the river. A lot of those guys from White Cloud are coming down. Kyle and them, they're talking about coming down there. They know that river too. Um, there's a sleeper one out there, and I don't know if he's going to show up or not, but like Anthony Jacoby, Derek Allen, all those guys, they know that river. They can put a hurt on it. So look for those guys. I think they come in strong. So, but it's anyone's game. It's fishing. It's anyone's game. We seen that at Catfish Chasers event. Bradley Young, he had that thing won the first 20 minutes. He just didn't know it at the time. He had probably had a pretty good idea, but we'll see how this goes. So it should be fun. We're trying to get more added money for you. And then next year, we're going to announce the location. We're going to talk more about the added money for that. We're going to talk about some new sponsors for that. We're looking forward to it. And some people already know the location. We're not going to announce it here tonight, talk too much about it. But we just want to make sure everyone's aware of it, that we're already planning that. All right, any questions on the Border Wars? Anything, go ahead and post it in chat here. I know there's a couple minute delay, so I'll come back to it once I see the questions. 2019 calendar. Right now, we are plugging in 8 events for 2019. We will have a points race in 2019. Dave Shipman has been corresponding with me on this and a couple other people, but he had a pretty good idea. I really like it. And I think that's the one we're going to go to. So we're going to meet. We're going to try to meet with them and Justin Thornton later on this week or next weekend and kind of talk through that. I'll type it all out and see what they think and then kind of brainstorm how we can make it a little bit better. We don't want it to be where it's a blowout because someone showed up to the first 3 events and no one has a chance to catch up to them. And we don't want it. We want to grow it. We want to use the points race to help people stay with the tournament trail and grow the tournament trail and not discourage people from showing up. So, we'll see how it goes. So look for that. Let's see what else is there. So the points race, 8 locations. We're going to announce the tentative dates of those 2019s. We'll bring that with us so you guys can see it. It is posted. We posted it out on our Facebook page. But this is going to be separate. The regional tournament trail, the one you guys are familiar with right now, is not going to change out of Kansas and Missouri next year. But what we want to do outside of those 8 right now, so let me back up. We're going to have 8 scheduled location or dates. We're going to have a couple of floating ones, so it'd be a total of 10. It's just going to see what's going on, what other activities are going on, where we plug those other 2 in at. And what other events. There's a group called Adaptive Sports, and we talked earlier this year about doing a tournament with them. And it's for people with handicaps and disabilities to fish with regular anglers and make it a very inclusive environment. So we've already talked to a couple people and of how that's going to look and what that's going to look like. And there's, they have a perspective that I don't have on that. And so the insight's going to be extremely valuable on how we develop this. And work with that group. And that group's never put on a catfish tournament. So, again, we have some people that we can get a hold of, and they're going to help us. They're going to be our brain trust for this, and they're going to help us work with. They are committed. They're going to help us work with Adaptive Sports. So if Adaptive Sports still wants to do that tournament, we're going to do that for them too. All right. And then that's our regional one. And then we're going to have that national trail. And that's what we were in that conference for. We kind of talked about before. That national trail, we're going to try to go from start off in Texas, West Texas, and then we're going to try to end up in Virginia. Virginia, a couple locations there. If it works out, we're going to have 2 events next year in Virginia on the James River. So we're looking forward to that. We are really looking forward to that. And some other locations that have been tossed around that they're guaranteed they're going to make it fun for us. And some of you guys just won't be able to make some of these. But this is the national arm of All American Catfish tournaments. And so, like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Wisconsin, Louisiana, Arkansas, just to name a few, Pennsylvania, Ohio, you know, several different locations. So we want to start at the west and work our way east. And we're going to start at the west, the southwest there, in the winter months. And that way, it's frozen up here and cold. People can get down there and fish. And then as it starts warming up, then the regional one's kicking off, and we're doing other states a little bit close by. So logistically, we're going to plan it out to where we can do this without traveling 1,600 miles every weekend. It'll work. What we're looking at, and we'll be using local help in different locations we go to, things like that. So look for more in that, just so you guys are curious. That's what we're looking for. We want to grow this into a sustainable business. And it's something good for the industry. So I'm going to be making some phone calls this week and try to get a good industry perspective from the past and where people think the industry is going in the future. And then we want to contribute to that in a positive manner too. So that things we're working on for 2019. All right. Any questions? So Joel Robert asked, what's everyone's guess on the total 2-day wait to win? After last night's tournament, I cannot guess. I can tell you that right now. I don't have a say in it myself, but I do believe it'll be over 200 pounds. By that time, yeah, we got a couple more weeks away. I think it'll be over 200, well over 200 pounds. So I'm looking forward to that. We want a big weigh in. All right, guys, what are your questions? 16 of you are watching. What are the questions? No questions. All right, let me go through, make sure I got any more notes here. We are looking for volunteers. If someone wants to give us a hand at the Border Wars, a family member, if you got someone just likes to be active down there on the weekends, need something to do, they can come down and give us a hand, even if it's let me talk about the parking. And we'll, as we get closer, we'll remind everybody, parking is an issue. There is going to be a day run there, apparently, or a walk. We'll be there long before they will. We'll be launched most likely before people show up. But there's certain areas of that parking lot, and when I do that overview, the sky view of where to park at, we will address that. But the boats cannot park in that area, so keep that in mind when you look at this map. And we'll be emphasizing that hard because they will ticket if you are parked in that area, from what we're being told. So look at that. Again, we need volunteers. We will be selling, hopefully, the rest of our T-shirts there at the Border Wars. We may, if we have anything left over, we're going to bring them out to Milford and probably cut the prices down on them. Get rid of them all. But only if for Milford we'll be doing that. So let's see here. Any questions? All right, guys. If you don't have any questions, that's it. Look at the page. Look at the page. Stay paying attention to the page. We post a lot, but a lot of people like the fact that we're posting things on there, and it is that community forum, and we want to maintain that. But here's the deal. We are not going to be approving any more posts that goes against our existing sponsors. We have tackle sponsors. Warrior Cat Rods and Tackle, they're a tackle sponsor. All right, Hooker's Terminal Tackle, they're a tackle sponsor. And Macy's Fish and Finds, our biggest tackle sponsor. They supply you guys with the most gear, most likely. All right. But they all have similar products, but Macy's, they're there. So what I'm getting at is it sounds like those are a lot of competition there, but Hooker's thermal tackles across all three of them. All right, so that there really isn't that type of competition. Bottom line is, we're not going to have other tackle companies sell stuff on our site. It's just not going, or on our Facebook page. It's not fair to our sponsors. Our sponsors are taking care of our anglers. Our anglers are trying to take care of them, and we have an obligation to take care of all of our anglers and sponsors. All right. If you're posting that stuff on there, your post is not going to get approved anymore. If live videos are fine. We don't mind live videos. We just don't want several hours of the live videos. If you got a live video of a great catch, that's great. But we're not trying to promote right now. We're not trying to promote other people's tournaments, not tournament series, but YouTube channels, Twitch channels, and things like that. We do have sponsorships available. That's how we're going to do it going forward. If you want access to our social media and our people, it's going to have to be through some sort of sponsorship. And that's because when we have sponsors, we can give back to our anglers. We can give back to that audience that you're trying to target. So that's the purpose of this. Okay, not for us. I don't need to gain anything from it. I buy all my own gear. Anyone that knows me knows I don't mind getting that stuff. Hold on, guys. I got another message pop up. So keep that in mind. If you want to be a sponsor of ours, get a hold of me. Let's talk through it. If you know someone that wants to be a sponsor of ours, that's fine. Get a hold of me. We can talk through it. But we are not going to be. Someone's trying to sell knives. Someone's trying to sell different brands of fishing poles. That's not our sponsor. We're not going to do that. If one of you regular anglers have your own gear that you want to sell, that's perfect. That's angler to angler transactions. We're all about that, right? Anglers trying to sell their boats to someone else. We're all about that. We have a marine sponsor, marine sponsor, repairs and everything else. He sold his own boat, and we let him post it on there too. But he's a sponsor already, so he's already got access to our social media. So there's no contradiction there either. So that's what we're saying is, if you're already part of the community and you got products you want to sell within the community, we're good with that. If you are part of the community and you're a business owner and you want to promote your business and you want to target these anglers in this community, we got to talk some sponsorships, especially if it's going to contradict what we're trying to do for our sponsors already. We're not going to do that. Like I said, they're taking care of our anglers. They're taking care of us. We need to take care of them. All right. So if you post that stuff, it's going to be deleted. I'm also going to be looking for a couple of really active moderators to really scrub our Facebook page. It's great. It's a community and everyone's talking and stuff, but some of the older posts, some of the older conversations, it makes it really hard to find the content people are looking for. So we're going to try and list a couple of new aggressive moderators. Look out there, look for negative comments, remove the negative comments, and clean up the page so people can find stuff there. So if you make a post, if you have a post out there about the caw and the question of the water levels and stuff, we'll post it. Ask that question. After a few days, though, it's probably going to be taken down because it just makes it harder to find, and you got that. By the time, 3 days later, that water question is irrelevant now, right? So it's outdated information. So we're going to take all that outdated information out. If the conversations on a post starts going negative, and there's a couple of people out there that are just consistently negative, we're going to remove their post. And I'll talk to them and say, look, clean it up a little bit. Let's stay positive. We're trying to approach nationwide now. If they can't do that, then we'll just remove people from there. That's easy. Again, people don't come there. We don't want anyone coming to All American Catfish Tournaments group and to have arguments. That's not the purpose of it. It's tournament discussions. It's anglers promoting anglers, taking care of our sponsors, and progressing the sport and the industry. So that's what we want to do. All right. Any questions? Questions. All right. I got a message here. Let me see here. All right. Pre-entries again. You guys are set on those. The Wednesday before, it'll be taken down. Again, you don't have to. For some of you that don't know this, you do not have to pay the full amount to hold your spot for the pre-entry. If you only have $100 of it now, You can pay half the pre-entry and then pay the other half the day of the registration when you come in. All right. That's how we do that. That's your incentive to pre-register because the launch order goes by when you've registered. On our normal events, you pay your $70 and you're the second person that did that for that. You're boat number 2. 3 weeks later or 5 months later, whenever that event shows up and you're the second boat, then you're still second boat and you're in the first launch. So keep that in mind. And let's have some fun. Get pre-registered. If not, show up that day and register. Okay. We're going to do live well checks, and we'll get you in the water. All right. All right, guys. I will write up a summary this week and post it out there like I always do. The day of tournament stuff. We'll get it out there. Look for those posts. Look for the map of how the parking lot's going to be. I'm looking forward to Border Wars. We want this to kind of be our crown jewel one. And grow it, and then eventually grow a couple of other our events to be like this one. We'll have titled events. We've already talked to the city of St. Joe. They do want us to keep our tournaments in St. Joe. I'd already told Dave Studebaker we were moving the Border Wars, so he already knows where that's going to go to. But if we have another one up at St. Joe, and according to them, they really want us to, so we're going to really take a look at that. We'll have it offsetting from his big St. Joe one. So if you see our schedule for next year, 2019, we really left that open for his schedule. And there's a couple events in that same month that are big ones. There's the traditional one that Twisted Cat Outdoors has, and then there's the Catfish Chasers one. So we're staying away from that month, and you'll see it on the calendar. We'll talk about it more. But it should be good. It should be a good 2019 shaping up already. I think a lot of the tournament directors, we've already shared our tentative calendars with each other. I've sent out mine. They sent me theirs. I consolidate them. And I'll have a consolidated one later on by the end of the year when we solidify all of ours and get all our permitting and everything done. And we can also say what locations we're going to have our national events at too. All right, guys. 1 second. Yeah. So we're really looking forward to the national trail. That was a question about right there, a statement on it. We're really looking forward to it, guys. And I want to thank you all for coming on tonight. If you don't have any questions, we're golden. I'm going to get cleaned up and then I'm going to bed. I am tired. I need some rest. Been running around a lot. So, guys, things are looking up for us. We appreciate your support. I'll get this saved once it's updated. I'll get the link out there on our page. And again, thank you, everybody. Let's make the Border Wars a big one. Let's have some good fun. And then we'll close out the rest of the year real strong. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.